Well, I timed that wrong, didn't I? So it's been the quietest room ever. And then seconds before we go live, the cat comes in, the dog comes in. How are you all anyway? So I'll tell you what, I'll shut this door. If you hear little bits of licking, and slopping and chops and moving around, it's just my big dog Theo. So yeah. All right, so the aim for today is to just go over questions that I kind of get asked daily while I'm on the gym floor. I'm lucky enough to still be on the gym floor pretty much most days. I am doing some online work as well with people. I work with open age groups, so I work with from like 10-year-olds up to 76-year-olds. So I'm lucky to work with like a broad spectrum of people. And I wanted to be able, there's a lot of people that I need to speak to. There's a lot of individual questions that I get asked. And I just wanted to find a different way or some kind of way where I can answer quite a lot of questions, but not repeat myself, but maybe give answers to people who are not working with me at the moment so they can get to ask questions and I get to help them as well. So with today being the 5th of December, and people might be on their like second Christmas do or Christmas party already, because everyone seems to have like Christmas parties leading up to now, from now till the end of the month. What I thought I'd do is go through pretty much how to kind of like how to plan your way from now up until the end of the month. So plan your way around Christmas parties, social get-togethers, family do's, Christmas Day itself, New Year's Eve. If you're lucky, you might be invited to a lot of social things, which if you're following like a training plan or a diet plan, it could bring some anxiety in terms of like, not quite sure what to do, or if things will just fall apart, or, the usual kind of worries that you have if the usual structure that you normally have is going to be disrupted. So I'll go through these. If you've got questions on the way, just ask away. I don't mind. They'll just pop up here on air so I can see them straight away. But yeah, don't be polite. Just ask questions. Don't care what they are. I might care what they are. Some questions. If certain people are watching, then yeah, don't ask those questions. All right. So first thing that we're going to look at is like mindset shift. So what I mean by mindset shift is mindset shift. I can swear in this anyway. It doesn't matter if I say anything else by accident. Yeah. So your mindset is like for me, it's up there with the priority. It's pretty much how you talk to yourself when you're going through any kind of like plan. So how you speak to yourself is really important. So the big focus that I try and get my guys to do is focusing the progress on like it's not really perfection. It's more to do with progress. It's more to do with like solidifying habits that you've already implemented and trying to keep as many of those habits as possible. If not, it's fine as long as it's if something's there, so something small, some kind of small habit, it's better than just not having anything set in place whatsoever. So examples of that would be, say this time last month, all our ducks were in a row. So it comes to training, you might be training like 3 to 5 times per week. All your lifts are progressively getting heavier, reps are increasing. You're even adding a couple of sets on to increase that volume. You're feeling strong, you're sleeping well. Because you've got a good sleep routine, you've got a good work routine. And then Christmas comes along and you get a few social events that might disrupt your sleep routine. You might have some more deadlines to work on before the end of the year. If you have children, there's things going on in terms of like, school commitments. Mocks have just gone, so there's quite a lot of stress going around there. A lot of reasons for your normal routine to be kind of like thrown a little bit. So aiming for aiming for perfection is probably not going to be too kind to you. We're looking for like small, consistent actions. So if we just looked for, okay, so on the days where we've not got social events coming, so just like a normal days, okay, we'll double down on those things. So what we can do is we can make sure that we're eating 3 to 4 meals a day, if that's what your routine is. There's protein focus. There's some veggies or fruit in there, something nutritious. There's some fiber in there, and you're drinking like water, sugar-free drinks, pretty much throughout the day, keeping you hydrated. Those are the good days. So even if, and I've brought it back before going my first tangent. Jesus, you're gonna get used to these. If when you're not going to like these kind of like parties or social events, there's no reason why you can't really keep to that. Because if you've been sticking those kind of habits before, then you should be okay. When it comes to those times, those events, I always think there's kind of like two ways you want to look at it. You could either just think, you know what, it's one day. I'm just going to go. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to have a little bit of food. I'm going to have a really good time. I'm going to drink couple of drinks that I might not normally do. I'm going to make some bad decisions, and everyone's fine. Everyone's healthy. Everyone's safe. Everyone gets home okay. It's absolutely fine. Might get a rough head in the morning. That's good. And if you can do that and be kind to yourself and not guilt trip yourself into doing that, that's brilliant, because hopefully that's out of the ordinary. That's not what you normally do. And don't forget, social gatherings are for social purposes. You're supposed to have a good time. You're supposed to be joining with everyone. And if it aligns with what your flexibility, that's brilliant. If the thought of that kind of makes you a little bit anxious, we could go down that route of saying, yeah, we could go that route of saying, it's not really healthy thinking like that. You should be able to, you might need some counseling or something extreme like that. That's not helpful either. I don't think so. I think probably what might be more helpful is, okay, so if going off on that kind of if that sounds too extreme for you to go totally off, let's put some things in place that you can follow and maybe keep you on track a little bit. And that gives you a little bit of flexibility, but not totally off the rails. And it might make it easier for you to just get back into your normal routine again. But and there's no right or wrong answer here as well. Again, it's just a case of what you feel comfortable with, what you can sustain in the long run. So yeah, for mindset, for me, it's definitely not about perfection. It's about just little consistent actions that you can do that just keep you kind of roughly on plan. Don't forget, when we talk about like dieting, so like weight management, whether it's weight loss or weight maintenance or weight gain, it's never, if it's weight loss, it's never like that. It's more like this. If it's weight maintenance, it's kind of like that. So you're taking averages, it's roughly around maintenance. This is exactly the same. So if we can kind of get to a point where we've got a little bit of a range of success, we can fall anywhere between that range and we're still keeping on track, then that's great. So again, no right or wrong answers there. I did have a couple of questions. I'll bring them up in a minute. I'll just go through a couple of the points that I wanted to make first. I don't know why, but it's so weird doing it live. It just feels really, really weird because I'm used to, if I have brain farts a lot. I do find that a lot. So when I'm doing like Instagram stories or I'm putting like YouTube videos up, I can I'll just edit it. But when I'm doing live, it's like, oh shit, it's a big pause. So I'm lots of having like tactical swigs of my tea. So just to like gather my thoughts, I think, you know, to get your head back in the game. Ah, okay. So one thing I was asked about was peer pressure. Um, so yeah, so peer pressure is it's mad because when we think about peer pressure, we think of like the school playground where, well, we all know what peer pressure feels like at school, don't we? But yeah, it does happen when you go out. It happens. It happens when you go out with your mates. It happens if you do something that's out of the ordinary. So if you go to a party, you think I'm not drinking today. You guarantee there's going to be some person saying, "Ah, go on, have one. Go on, have a drink. Oh, go on. Why not drinking? How come you're not having a drink? You boring." Like, and again, there's no right or wrong answer to that. If you've made a choice, you know, okay, that should be your prerogative. But if you want to enjoy a couple of drinks but not have too many, um, or if you just don't want to have any drinks at all, these are the couple of things that I do when I go out and I don't really want to drink. Because drinking doesn't bother me. I don't drink till I get drunk. I've not done that for a long time. I don't like the feeling of being so drunk that I can barely stand up. I just don't like that feeling. But the worst thing for me is no, it doesn't matter how many beers I drink. So I do a beer's probably my drink of choice. If I was going to have a relaxing drink, it'd probably just be a beer because I'm a bit of a commoner. Now I do like a little bit of I don't even like many. I don't even like spirits. Jack Daniels maybe. Have a little glass of that every now and then. But if I'm going to have a relaxing drink, it'll be a beer. I'm not even mature enough to have wine yet, and I'm 40 something, nearly 50 something. What do you want? What's up? I said my pets have not bothered me all day. Couldn't care less. As soon as I switch this on, I've got Theo, my big bull mastiff dog, underneath my feet snoring away. So I don't know if you can hear that or not. And I've got my cat Tucker, who's meowing at me because he probably wants something. No, go out. Go on. No. Go on. No. Obviously, just wants some attention. All right. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So these are the two things. Well, there's one thing that I hope that I do. That I've done for quite a while now. But there was one other thing that I learned quite recently, which was like mega, and it was really. I'm actually really happy with it. Sorry, stopping my cat clawing my chairs. Non-alcoholic beer, something that I would never dream of doing. A while ago, when I still drank recreationally, just because one thing was the taste of it, and you know, back when I was younger and a little bit stupid, it was kind of like, well, what's the point? Kind of a little bit like that now. But in terms of like handling peer pressure, there's some really good non-alcoholic beers out there. My personal ones I think are really nice. I do like the Heineken one. So Heineken Zero is really good. Guinness Zero alcohol is exactly the same as Guinness full alcohol, whatever it is. I think it's like 4% or something like that. For me, there's no difference. I don't care what anyone says. I've never had it out of a draft, like out of a pump. That would be really good if you can get zero alcohol Guinness out of a pump. I'd be well interested in that. But yeah, that's my go-to. If like I'm rarely in a pub, but at Christmas time I've already met up with a couple of old mates already this year. I'll try and find like a Guinness Zero somewhere. But another one, what someone told me, and it's probably old news to most people. I'm probably the last person to know about it, but lime and soda is like amazing. It looks like an alcoholic drink. It looks like a grown-up alcoholic drink. I'm not really into the gin either, by the way. I'm not really a gin and tonic kind of guy. But lime and soda water is like flipping nice, and plus keeping hydrated, so less chance of you being rough the day after. So yeah, those are my only two tips, by the way. Plus eating in the morning. Don't skip meals. Don't go drinking on an empty stomach. That's not gonna help with roughness. Yeah, I didn't think this was going to turn into a how to not get rough after a night out. I've got a couple more questions based on that as well, but I'll work through my list of what I wanted to do because I don't want to drag this on too long. So yeah, in terms of like my practical tips, try out some non-alcoholic drinks that you like. If you're really struggling, lime and soda is just like the best. It's just awesome. In terms of food, so say if it's not a boozy one, you're not going to the pub, or you're just going to your families to like get some to meet family and eat like most families do when they get together. There's 3 or 4 different things that I try. So I tend not to give like blanket advice when on things like this. But what I do is I kind of share either what I do or I share what I've advised that's worked with people that I've worked with. I'll never say you must do this or you mustn't do this because whatever's right for the person, really. There are some things that work better than others, in my experience. So I really like if you go out to a friend's house or if you go to a party or something like that and there's buffet on. One rule that I kind of give myself is, okay, I get a plate and I can put as much food on there as I want. But I can only go at once. I can only have one plate. That kind of, for me, does a couple of things. I am quite in tune, but well, my first choice for everything is protein. So I'll always go for the chicken. I'll always go for the cuts of meat that I usually have, so slices like turkey or chicken or beef, or I kind of go for that first anyway. It's kind of like hardwired into me now. But I'll also, because I make sure that's taking up a good chunk of my plate and I can only go at once, I might only put a little bit of crappy stuff on there. So in terms, what kind of crappy stuff would I go for? I never go for pastries or anything like that. I don't go for like sausage rolls or vol au vents or anything like that because I get heartburn for days if I eat stuff like that. But mainly like sweets. I don't mind some sweets. But yeah, regardless, I'm going for a 3rd or 4th tangent. But I do think if you sticking to, I have one plate, I'm going to fill that plate up, but I can only go at once. It's a really, really good tool to use. It's a really good method to use. If you are worried that you're going to overeat at an event, regardless of what it is, eating before you go there is a good strategy as well. So having something that's quite high in protein, something that has fiber in it, something that's nutritious, because it's still only one day. You're probably going to go back to not eating normally afterwards. And if not, you might, after a day or 2, you might go back to eating normally anyway. So I wouldn't really eat too much. I wouldn't worry too much about that. But I'd aim for something that's like high in protein, something that's fibrous, something that's nutritious, and have that before. So when you go to like whatever, whether the party or the Christmas party, whatever it is, you're kind of full anyway. So you're probably not going to be eating loads when you get there because you've already had a meal. If it's later on the night, have 2 meals. And when you get there, it's just a case of like just snacking. It's quite easy to do the 1 plate rule when you're not that hungry. If you have a mix of alcohol and being extremely hungry, it's a bit of a bad combo because you know what happens. So yeah, so that's on the nutrition side for it. And the other thing as well is because other questions that, well, not questions that I'm asked, but conversations that I've had and people that I know that do this is, it's Christmas, so they'll have like a week, 2 weeks of just eating crap. Now, again, this isn't a right or wrong situation, but there are pros and cons to that. So pros, going to be flipping amazing eating like a kid again and just waking up and eating trifle for breakfast and Freddo frogs for snacks, and polishing off everyone's oh my god, what are they called? Selection boxes. Whew. Yeah, just eating those all day long. It'd be mint if we could do that. And you can do that. But there are negatives to that. So negatives will be, if you generally eat quite well, it's a little bit like the same feeling as having a hangover. So if you're eating a lot of junk food after like months and months and months of eating really well, you're going to feel pretty rough after that. Skin might be blotchy, you might not be sleeping too great. You've probably got the driest mouth ever because you're full of sugar. Yeah, you're gonna. So that's like a big effect. But the other side of that is if you treat it like, okay, so out of the whole month, out of 30 days, let's say you've got one a week. In fact, forget it. Let's say you've got two. Say you've got two per week. So that's eight social events in a month. That's still what, 22, 23, 30 days of September, April, June, November, 31 days in December. Yeah. So yeah, and 8 social events. You've still got 23 days where you're not. So there's 23 days of like where you can eat relatively sensibly and still be in a really good place in January when you first start. When you get back to eating well again. I never judge anyone if they do use all December to kind of like just eat what they want and just go back to revert to being a kid and just eating trifle for breakfast. I never judge anyone for that. But it's going to be so tough when you get to January because you're probably not going to be kind to yourself the way you're speaking. You're probably going to be feeling like shit, and you've probably put on a good amount of weight. Some of that will be water retention. You should be able to get rid of that relatively quickly, but not many people feel great in January when they do that. So by setting things up and having on the days where you're not going out anywhere, just knuckling down and just make sure you're getting your workouts in, make sure you're getting your steps in if you can, if the weather's not too bad, making sure that the food that you're eating is protein priority. I've said it loads of times already, but like protein priority, it's fibrous. You got veggies, fruit and veggies in there. And he's keeping hydrated. If you can do that on the days where you're not going out anywhere, you're going to be absolutely fine over Christmas. If you want a copy of this, hang on. Let's see if I can share something. All right, don't show those tips again. Oh, sorry, I'm just reading what it says on here. Sorry. Let's have a look at that. There we go. Excellent. All right, so this is just like a bit of a takeaway that you can. I'm happy to send this to you. This isn't when I send this to you, you've got to sign up with me for like 3 months or anything like that. You can have this for free. And it's just strategies to get you over Christmas. So weight gain, what causes weight gain, effective weight management strategies, how to think of like meal times, protein priority, food quality, favorite times of eating to plan around events when you're going out at night or in the daytime, practical tips. So like just little things that you can have, but I'll send that to you if you want a copy. Just I don't know, stick me like a thumb in the comments or something like that. All right, I'll get this back. Let's turn that off. Awesome. All right, so I've got a message here. Well, it's I'll grass you up. I'll keep it anonymous, Jane. Says I don't know if I can say that. I couldn't figure out how to watch your podcast. I watched you cook tea though. Cheers, Jane. Yeah, I cook tea. So which leads me on to like meal prep. So with meal prep, I'm not I'm not great at batch cooking. I'm not a massive. I just don't like it. A little bit because I don't mind cooking something, having leftovers. That's probably about as much meal prep as I do. But I've never ever made like a cauldron of something and had it frozen and for the rest of the week. I've just never done that. Again, that's not because it's not because I'm right and everyone else is wrong. It's just not. It's just not something that I do. I've never tried it. I probably get bored if I'm honest. If I have leftovers the day after, unless it's really nice, I don't think I can have it like 2, 3, 4 days in a row. In fact, I know I couldn't. What was I doing? Oh yeah, so yes, we have like a collaboration with like a link, like a connection with Candy Kitchen Creations, and they drop some of their ingredients. If you watch Dragon's Den, you definitely know them. They're originally from Andy's from Bury originally, but they live in Rochdale. Andy and Karen, and they have their stuff. They have their like little individual meals that you can have. So they have like stews, and which is all my favorite. If you follow me on anything else, you know that I flipping love stew. I take it back. If I could, I can eat stew day after day for weeks on end and not get bored of it. But they have those. They have lamb cowl, which I'd never had before. Tried that before. That was flipping amazing. I feel like I'm turning into an advert for them now. But yeah, they've had them there for ages. And the last I put a video on earlier on today, but me making one of them. It's just dead easy. It's basically just whatever the contents of the sachet is. Throw it with some water, let it simmer for an hour or so, and it's done. So yeah. Right. I think that's it. Let me know how I did for my first one, because it was a bit flipping hard, that one. I'm going to try and get guests on. I'm going to get someone else to help me to talk to, because well, they can talk while I'm having my brain farts. So yeah, any questions if you're watching, just send us a question now. I'm going to have a little swig of my tea, and if no one's asking any questions, I'm going to let you get on with your evening. Oh, can't ask that. Can't say that. All right. Thanks. If you watched this, whether you watched it live or whether you watched it on YouTube or in hindsight, if you don't follow us already, they will get better, these, I promise. If you made it this far, you might as well subscribe, because it's probably going to get better than this. So yeah, I suppose I'll see you later. I'll tell you what I will do. Let's see if this works. I've only worked out how to do buttons, haven't I? Eh? Switched off as well. Anyway, I will get better at this, I promise. I'll see you later. Take care. Oh, there was something else. I'll think of it. I'll put it on my Instagram story if I remember. All right. See you later.